Hello, my friend. On today's episode, I'm speaking with MFF's Director of Sales, M. Strasfeld, previously M. Morris. She's got a new last name, and she's going to blow your mind yet again. Her last episode was one of our most listened to recently, and I think you're going to love this one as well. In this episode, we talk about referrals. We talk about upgrade conversations and termination conversations. So three really important conversations in your business. And she walks you through how we do it at MFF, giving you insight into our scripts and our processes. So if you want to get better at asking for referrals, upgrading memberships, and lowering terminations, then this is the episode for you. Let's dive in. Hello, fitness business nerds. What's up? Welcome to another episode of the Business Unicorns podcast. And today she's back again. It's M. Strasfeld. Welcome back to the podcast, M.
Hello, formerly M. Morris.
Formerly M. Morris. So in case anyone's confused, M was on the podcast, just a few months ago, maybe a month or two ago, as M. Morris. And since her name has legally changed because she's married. So, belated congratulations on behalf of the podcast.
Thank you.
And so welcome formerly M. Strasfeld to the podcast for the first time. And honestly, we had you back so soon, and I'm not even joking, is because we had such great feedback from the last time you were on this podcast that the public literally demanded. They've been in front of my front yard with pitchforks demanding that M come back on the podcast because they need to know more from your genius sales mind. So thanks for coming back.
Yes, and thank you to all my many fans.
We're going to have some M merch soon about, the sales goddess that you are. So for those of you who have not listened to my previous conversation with M, please go back and listen to that episode because we talk really specifically about the whole sales process at Mark Fisher Fitness. And Emily breaks it down step by step, but what they do on the sales team at MFF, or the growth squad, as we call it. And so go listen to that, because today we're not going to go back and cover the same territory. Today, we're going to jump beyond. So we're going to talk about other sales conversations in the gym that are beyond the initial sales conversations. So we're going to cover three things. We're going to talk a little bit about referrals. We're going to talk about membership upgrades, and we're going to talk about termination conversations. So if you want the meat and potatoes of how to sell a prospect or a lead, go listen to the last one. We're not going back there. We're marching forward. Are you ready to march forward, Em?
Let's do it.
Cool. So when it comes to referrals, talk to me a little bit about what is you and your team's approach to getting referrals at MFF these days?
Yeah, there is no wrong time to ask for a referral. I will start with that.
Yep.
But also, we really try to come at it from the angle that it's a gift to you.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the time it's weird to start working out somewhere new, or a lot of the time you've joined somewhere and you're really stoked about it and you're having great progress and you want to be able to share that with people, and you don't realize it's something that's possible in the space. So we always try to angle it as like we've got this awesome thing for you. And then it's also sometimes awkward because people, I think, really are nervous about asking for your friend's information, or sometimes people are nervous about giving their friends information. And I always like to follow it up with like, that's totally okay. We've got, there's other ways around it. You can get their information later. We'll kind of dive into that, but just like making sure the other person is extremely comfortable and just knows like, hey, I'm not trying to get something from you. I'm trying to give something to you.
Yeah, I think those are great tips right off the bat, right? I love the idea there's no wrong time to ask, right? Literally, when you're just meeting a prospect, you can ask, from when they're onboarding to like literally any time that they're a member. Especially, we'll talk about the best times to ask, maybe, and then the idea that we really want to position this as a gift to our members, right? We're giving you something to give to friends, to give to family, to give to coworkers, and that really changes the dynamic of the conversation. So let's start with the first pieces. When are the times you think are best to make the referral ask?
Yeah, so we ask anytime it's somebody's first visit.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're coming in for a free class, or if they've purchased your low barrier offer, your trial, whatever, and they're coming in, we immediately ask in what feels like an organic way of just like, hey, we're booking you into this class at 7:30 p.m. on Wednesday, and there's room in this class. I know sometimes it's super awkward to start working out somewhere new, so we allow you to bring a friend or a family member with you to that first class. Who do you want to share this experience with?
Mm-hmm.
Or who do you want on that mat next to you?
Yep.
And I think essentials to that first ask is we allow. because
Mm-hmm.
it's like, this is a gift where we allow this. And then also, I love to not ask a yes or no question at the end.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, do you want to bring someone? It's
It's
who do
who.
you want to
Yeah.
bring?
Yeah, well said. Yeah, I think that's so smart. And you're right, it feels organic. Like, hey, I'm booking you into your first few classes. This first one you're in a Wednesday has some spots. Who do you want to bring? Right? We allow you to bring an extra friend. Who do you want your support person to be? Right? And framing it as a real benefit to them because it is right. There's people who are so nervous they can come with a friend. Then it really helps their anxiety about showing up for the first time. Yeah.
Yeah, and I will say there's several responses to that. I also
Mm-hmm.
want to let listeners or watchers know, like, if someone is really uncomfortable with that and says, "No, I want to work out by myself here for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I want to try it out." Totally cool. My response is always like, "Oh, no worries. We just want to make sure it's as comfortable and easy for you as possible to come in. No big deal."
Mm-hmm.
Or if they say, "Oh, I think my roommate want to come, but I just want to ask her first."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. I'm going to put a hold in the class so that it doesn't fill up because this class is pretty popular. So I'll reach out to you tomorrow. You have 24 hours to ask her, and I'll just need her name, email, phone number. We'll put her in the class, and y'all are good to go. So that it's you just give them options of, like, if that person is kind of nervous about giving out their friend's information or their husband's information or whatever, you kind of have a backup plan for each opportunity. And again, in case you haven't listened to the first version of me being on the podcast, make a script for that.
Yeah.
Have a plan for every possible answer for them on that first ask.
Yeah, it goes without saying. We should just do a big disclaimer at the beginning here. Everything we talk about in this whole podcast belongs on a script somewhere, right? No one's winging it. Em's, even though Em's done this a million times, her and her team, they're not just winging it. They're literally following a script, even though they know what to say. And so y'all better be following a script too. Yeah, so fantastic. So make it easy for them to bring a friend. Make it easy for them to not be ready to answer that question. Follow up with them if they need some extra time. Fantastic. What are the other kind of key moments where asking for a referral can be really handy?
Yeah, for us with our low barrier offer, that trial, it's
Hmm.
longer.
Hmm.
It's 21 days. So if you have a trial that is a certain amount of time or is a certain amount of classes, we always ask again at the midway point. And it's a trade. It's like,
Hmm.
Michael, I see that you're crushing it. I know
Hmm.
that this trial came with 3 classes, but I have a fun offer. You can get a bonus extra class by giving away a class to a friend. So
Hmm.
then at that point, we actually just send our digital referral form, which is what we offer our members regularly. And I'll get to that one in a second. But
Hmm.
that way, it takes the extra step of them having to get back to us out of it.
Yep.
And we literally get pinged when someone fills out that form. So I know Michael filled it out. He gets an extra class on his account. And I'll text back, Radical. Oh my gosh, we're so excited for your pal. And then I start the follow-up with the pal in the regular referral way. So
Fantastic.
that's kind of a fun, you get something for giving out of another class. And that's a great opportunity because at this point, this person has been in your space, has tried a
Hmm.
couple workouts. It's like, yeah, I know the exact right person for this. I know my mom is going to love this. My partner is going to love it in here, whatever that is. So it gives them a chance to earn another class for themselves and
Hmm.
also bring in a pal.
Yeah, fantastic. And what another great example of like it's a key moment where they're getting to know us and maybe an extra class will be helpful in their decision making. And it's framed like a gift to them and a gift they're giving someone else. And make it easy for them to opt in if that's interesting to them. Make it easy for them to not if it feels icky or uncomfortable or they just don't know anyone. Right. And so yeah, fantastic example. Let's go back to the form for a second. Just want to tell our listeners what that is.
Yeah, so basically, at all times, we have a form that anyone who is a member can fill out and give a free class to. And if it says on the form, if your friend becomes a member, you get a $50 credit on your account.
Hmm.
So there's some sort of offering for the members as well. And that's just available literally all the time. So that's something that is we remind people of from time to time every now and then when there's not a lot going on in our marketing stratosphere, or if it's been a minute since we've had referrals come in, we will do a couple of different options for the members. And one is just a simple announcement or a really short email that goes out that's like, hey, by the way, you could make $50 by spreading the gospel of the fun that is MFF. We love to build our ninja army. We'd rather have your friends. I bet you'd rather party with your friends in here than anyone else. So give your friend a free class, and if they sign up, you'll get a $50 credit on your account. It's totally
Mhm.
a win.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
love
easy
that.
because they just fill it out.
Yeah, it's all 100%. There's not a ton of back and forth. There's not put people on the spot. They have a link. They can click from the email or from a text or from a QR code or whatever, however someone's going to do it, and then they could do it in their own time. But it does require us to kind of make announcements and maybe do a few nudges. Which brings me to my next question, which is, a lot of folks that are listening don't have sales teams like MFF. And so a lot of times the people doing these referral conversations are trainers. And oftentimes they're doing them like kind of while they're on the floor interacting with clients. Can you just talk a little bit about, given that scenario, we have our trainers do referral asks from time to time. It's not the cornerstone, I think, of our referral strategy at this moment, but for folks that it is, can you just talk through how do you coach
Mm,
trainers up on having those conversations on the floor with clients?
good one. Yeah. Um, I would definitely remind the trainers that it's zero pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you as a trainer have a relationship with someone and you see that they are crushing it in your gym.
Yep.
That's the perfect opportunity to either ask for a review or a referral or both and just be like, dude, you're totally crushing it in here. Is there someone in your life that you would like to share this experience with? Like, do you want to bring your wife in here and have her see how amazing you're doing? We have this awesome referral program. I would totally hook you up with a free class, a free session, whatever it is that you're offering so that they can really see what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You always have fun while you're in here. Do you want to bring someone? But again, I think the two tips for having trainers sell that is one, have a script, have a
Mm-hmm.
script, have a script, have a script, and then give them what to say next. Because
Mm-hmm.
it's very easy on the fly for anyone who's on the sales team and used to doing it to know what to say if someone says, I'm uncomfortable with that. Then all of a
Yeah.
sudden the trainer's uncomfortable. So have scripts with every possible path, and then also just really train your trainers on believing that this is like the simplest gift to give and not a sales ask.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a great framing of it because so many people think of it as like this like I don't know, seedy thing we're trying to do. We're trying to trick people or something. But the reality is, it's like no, we're genuinely trying to celebrate that someone's crushing at the gym, and let them bring in other people who might want to crush it alongside them. And at the very least, it's a way to just kind of build community for people who are just like them. And so I think it's so valuable.
Yeah.
So that's great. I think I want to double click on the thing you said, which is have a script that includes all the possible scenarios. Love it. And then the second piece there, which is like practice, practice, practice. Right. I just want to
Yes.
say like there's just no amount of script making that gets away from the need to practice. Like you just have to actually get your team together at a team meeting and have these words come out of their mouths and practice, because if not, there's going to be weird about it, and then it'll feel like a weird thing because they feel weird about it. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I've done a lot of learning from other places and learning
Hmm.
about referral asks and all of that. And there's a lot of hardcore referral ask situations
Yeah.
out there where like people on your team must bring in a certain number of referrals every day or they're fired, or,
Yeah.
there's a lot of belief that like you ask for 5 referrals at every point and you might get 3, and you settle for 3. Do whatever feels right to you. For me personally, for our team, since we tend to go the route of like, this is a gift to you, it's super no big deal. I don't feel comfortable being like, you've got these 5 passes. Give me 5 names right now. But there's nothing wrong with being open about how with your trial you get 5 free passes. Who are
Hmm.
these 5 people you want to give it to, and make it so that you need to give me their information now. You have to give out the 5 free passes before your trial starts. That's an option. It doesn't feel right
Yep.
at MFF, but that is a great option if you want to make sure everyone who comes in the door gives out a free week to a friend and they get to use the free week with their friend while they're there, that kind of a thing.
Yeah, I think it's really well said. Yeah, we definitely take a more kind of like softer, but hopefully consistent approach to like asking for referrals consistently, but in a way that feels good to us and our team. But they're certainly more I don't want to call it aggressive, But I mean, I guess there are, maybe it is a little more aggressive. Yeah, I'll just use the word aggressive. There's more aggressive approaches out there that don't feel right to us, but you, dear listener, get to decide for yourself. So if you want to require, 5 referrals before someone starts a trial, give it a try. If you can do it with confidence and with integrity and it feels good to you and the people you're doing it with, go for it. All right. In the interest of time, I'm going to discipline myself because I want to talk more about referrals, but I'm going to switch gears. Let's switch gears and talk about upgrades. So recently, I know
Okay.
MFF has been trying a bunch of stuff to doing some campaigns to get members. I have a hard time saying members or clients because at MFF we call them ninjas.
I
On
know,
this
me too.
podcast, I keep trying to not say ninjas. I'm just going to say ninjas because that's what I know. So, dear listeners, when we say ninjas, we mean clients. Here we go.
I also
I
have a
always
hard time
struggle.
not saying clubhouse. It
Oh
takes too much
yeah.
effort for me to say gym every time.
It's true. We've been so indoctrinated. We drank the Kool-Aid so hard. All right. Well, I guess to be fair, I helped make the Kool-Aid, so of course I drank it. Let's talk about upgrades. So we've done a few campaigns recently at MFF to get ninjas to upgrade their memberships. Can you just talk about what we've been learning about what's worked and what's not worked here?
Yeah, so one of the things we implemented recently is anytime someone signs up for a membership, which by the way is another point where we offer referrals,
Hmm.
if they sign up for one of the middle tier or lower tier memberships, we automatically leave a note for ourselves. We do it in automation, but you can do it manually to check in with them somewhere between 30 and 45 days of their membership, and I look at their attendance and I think, okay, this person is crushing it. They're literally showing up to every class they paid for. So now I know I should reach out and say, Michael, you are crushing this low membership, this low tier membership. I I like knowing what your goals are, knowing that we've talked. It's better for you to be on this upper tier membership. It's literally only $20 more a week. You'll get
Hmm.
unlimited classes instead of this other thing. And I think you'll be much happier. Do you want to talk about that? And then come at them with an open hand of like, by the way, if you do upgrade, for us, one thing that really works is if you upgrade, you don't have to start your year membership over again.
Got it.
If
Which
you
is different
downgrade,
when
you
you
do.
downgrade. Yeah,
Yeah.
you down. So for those of you who don't know it, if you downgrade your membership at Mark Fisher Fitness, it just means you start the clock over again. Your membership starts at the beginning of whatever the period was you committed for. So when you upgrade, we want to make it explicit that you don't have to do that. You can stay on the same timeline you were. So yeah, keep on going, Em. That's great.
Yeah, so it feels like a little bit of another, attractive offer. And it's just saying, like, hey, I'm paying attention to you. I see that you're really crushing these workouts. We have this other option now that you're more comfortable here, now that you kind of get what the flow of it is. Do you want to be coming in more? How can I help with that?
Yeah. Well, the thing I love about this, and you can see, dear listeners, that both referrals and upgrades, the framing we're always leaning towards is how do we make this thing that is basically a sales strategy genuinely feel like a benefit for the ninja, for the client, right? And in both cases, it is, right? In both cases, both are true. We are using this as a way to get more people in the door, but we're also using it as a way to better serve them and help them get better results, build a community with their friends in it, help them come more if they can afford it. And that makes sense knowing that they're crushing it. So I think that's meta strategy here of framing a sales conversation as a gift, as a benefit to the member, I think is one that is, kind of under talked about. So I love that. So we have this moment where 30, 45 days in, we're touching base with them. And then, how does that conversation usually go for you since you've been doing it?
Yeah, it just depends on the person. For
Hmm.
some people, they originally signed up for that lower tier membership for financial reasons, and they're like,
Hmm.
absolutely not. I'm cool where I am. Thanks so much. Great.
Yep.
Don't forget, you can always give a free class to a pal, and if they become a member, you get $50 off of your next payment.
Hmm.
So another referral moment if
Yep.
they don't want to upgrade. Or if they do want to upgrade, it's like super fantastic. Here we go. Let's upgrade you. Also, with your new membership, you get another free class to give to a pal. Who do you want it to be?
Yep. Fantastic. I love that. Are there any other moments where we are pushing upgrades at this time?
We did just run an offer for those people who are on the lower tier membership, where we reached out and we said, you guys are awesome. We love you. Did you know that there is a bigger version of the membership that you have? We would like for you to see how the other half lives for the next 3 weeks. You get that membership at the price that you're regularly paying just to try
Mm,
it out.
great.
So we had I think maybe 50 or so members take us up on it. And then, of course, out of those 50 or so members, maybe 40 of them actually utilized that. There's
Yep.
always going to be
Yep.
people who are like, yeah, I'll take that. And then they get super busy or they suddenly go to Hawaii and they're like, no, sorry, I can't.
Poor
Um,
things going to
I know.
Hawaii. Yeah.
Mm. Um, but and then after that, we reached out to every single person who took us up on it and said, how was that, Michael? We did give this to you for free, but did you know if you upgraded to this permanently, it's only X amount of dollars more per week? And
Yeah.
also, then we came at them with a sign up offer. So if you want to start your year over and upgrade, we'll give you this amount of money off of your first payment. If you want to stay where you are in your membership and upgrade, we'll give you a little bit less off of your first payment. How does any of that sound? And I think at this point we got 6 people to upgrade,
Great.
and we're still reaching out to a couple of them. It's literally, we
Still.
just tried this for the first time, and
Yeah.
so that's 6 people who we're getting a little more from. They're getting a little more out of their workouts. They didn't even realize what the benefits were of that membership sometimes because
Hmm.
they're so used to the thing they're doing.
Yeah, so smart, and I love it. And you got those 6 upgrades so far. I'm sure more are to come with just a few emails and a few conversations, right? Not a major lift. That's not it's no work, but it's not a major lift, you know. So the fact that you can do upgrades in kind of a one-on-one setting where you're talking to just where you're focusing on an individual at a time, or you can do it en masse like an internal campaign, and both can be effective. Yeah.
Hmm.
Anything else you want to share about upgrades before we switch gears again?
No, but I think that's good.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure we can
Yeah.
say more, but I think that's a really good roadmap for listeners to start with. Um, let's get use the final maybe 5 minutes here for a conversation about terminations, because this is
Mm.
where I see a lot of gyms drop the fucking ball, and I say I use the F word here because I get so annoyed that they leave their back door just completely open for people to walk out easily and with zero friction. And I get the impulse that some people are like, well, what I see a lot of gyms do is if a member wants to leave, they just kind of text or email, usually the owner, and say like, "Hey, this is gonna be my last month," and they maybe write them back and say, "Okay," and then like that's it. Like that's the whole process. And for a lot of reasons that we're going to discuss in a minute, it's not enough. This is a real opportunity to build connection, to build trust, maybe keep them longer. And there's lots of opportunity here in those moments where people
Hmm.
want to make a change. So can you just talk a little bit about our approach to termination conversations?
Yeah, I will say the membership department is the one who does
Yep.
all of this at MFF. However, because there are points in the conversation that end up being sales or downgrade conversations or whatever, we've helped them develop what to say and how to
Yep.
say it. And they have scripts.
Yep.
So, and also they have like if then paths to follow as well. But for starters, we do have a termination fee. If you want to get out of your year-long membership, there is a fee to pay. We're not the kind of place that makes you pay out the rest of your contract and a fee. And also, that's something we mention at the point of sale. And it can be really helpful because I think people tend to be gun shy about signing up for a year-long membership anyway. They've had bad situations in the past with different gym experiences where they tried to break up and the gym was like, nope, you can't break
Yep.
up with me.
Nope.
Um,
Yeah.
so I'm very clear in my sales conversation as well that like, and look down the road if something should happen and you need to end this membership, that's totally okay. We have a small fee, and truly, it's not like other places where you have to pay out the rest of the membership. We are going to let you out of it. We just have this small fee in order to continue covering trainers' health insurance and the people who work in the office, and just make sure that we can do back end things and haven't
Yeah.
lost out too much. We got to keep the lights on, and people are usually very responsive to that in a
Yeah.
positive way.
That makes sense.
But
I love that. Before you go on, can we actually go back a little bit further? So we can certainly. I want to get to talking about all the ways people terminate and how that conversation goes. But you can just start with they got to fill out a form. I'm
correct.
sorry. They got to talk to someone who fills out a form. So our process
Yeah.
is go ahead.
Yeah, I will
Yeah.
say that makes a huge difference. There's no
Yeah.
like send us a text, send us an email, tell us you want to quit. Okay, cool. We need to hop on a call with you and
Yes.
just finalize this and make sure it's legally and binding and ended. Because they hopefully at your space as well, listeners, they signed something to begin with that
Yeah.
says, I'm here, I'm doing this, I'm committing to this, I'm committing to paying this. So they need to legally have a talk on the back end. So there's no just like shoot us a text and tell us you want to quit. Nope, we're going to hop on a call. And then, yes, there's a form that someone on the membership team fills out asking questions about the experience. But even before they get to filling that out, they talk to someone and they ask, what's going on? Why
Mm-hmm.
is it that you need to quit? How can we help? Did you know that your membership comes with freezes? So, if this is just a time in your life where you're overwhelmed by working out, you're financially compromised, and you don't want to pay this, that is totally okay. We're here for you. We want to help you freeze this so you don't have to put your health and wellness on the back burner forever. It's just a moment in time. So push pause, don't pay for it. We'll check in with you in a few weeks, based on where you set your freeze to, and see if it's a better time. And that can make people feel really good and seen as well. Because the truth is, as much as we don't want them to leave financially, we also don't want them to leave for their own goals and their own wellness. We all do this to help people.
Mm-hmm.
So when someone says, I just can't do this right now, I'm so busy. Okay, well, we support that. And we totally understand that you get busy, acknowledging and validating that.
Mm-hmm.
Here are some of your other options before you just totally quit taking care of yourself fully. You can
Yep.
pause it. You can also downgrade it if you happen to be one of those people in one of the higher membership options. Like maybe coming 4 times a week is becoming too much for you. We have this 2 times a week option. How does that sound?
Yep.
Um, and then at the very least, if they're like, no, I absolutely want to get out of it, great. We can help you with that. Again, I really don't want you to feel like you have no options for working out. So we have non-committal options. They're a little bit more expensive, obviously, because they don't include commitment,
Yep.
but it's a great way to still continue your health and wellness. And so that's sort of even a last ditch downgrade effort.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I love that because the conversation turns to like, we want you to keep taking care of yourself. We don't want money or convenience or any of those things to get in the way of your care. So let us help you give you options. And if we can give you options that help you continue taking care of yourself, great. And if not, we're going to have a beautiful breakup, right? We're going to have a breakup where you feel taken care of and supported in your choice to go do something
Hmm.
else.
Yeah.
And I love that. In MFF, we have, freezes. In MFF, we have options to downgrade if they're a higher membership. We have some non-committal options. We also have some online training, like something we call Homebody, which is virtual Zoom training,
Mm.
Zoom classes, and many of you listeners have some remote or virtual training you offer. And so, whatever options you have, this is the moment to have that conversation. And if we don't have the conversation, we're just leaving the back door open for people to just stop taking care of themselves. And that
Hmm.
just doesn't feel right either. I feel like when we take a ninja into our loving arms at MFF, it feels like an obligation. It feels like no, we're committed to this partnership. We're helping you take care of yourself. And when someone just decided to just stop taking care of themselves, we want to talk about it. And so this termination conversation is really built around like, are you is this really what you want? Can we help? Can we help you in any other way? And I'll say one more thing that I know we don't really promote actively at MFF. But if I was one of my dear listeners who has a smaller gym, maybe you have under 100 members, even under 200 members, I might also have in my back pocket a discount to offer people to keep them around. So I might even say, can I just take 20% off your membership for the next 3 months to help you out if finances are an issue? Or can I
Mm.
just, you get the idea, like, have some other, we don't really make those kinds of exceptions as much anymore at MFF just because it doesn't really scale. But if you have a smaller gym, I think you probably can get away with a little bit of that art, and take good care of people, especially if the issue is money. We can help with
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then also I will say at the end of this, there are going to be people who do want to terminate. There are
Yeah,
going to
of
be people
course.
who need to walk away for whatever their reason is in their life, and that is the point where we ask for referrals and reviews.
Referrals. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. You need to leave. And how likely are you on a scale of 1 to 10 to refer Mark Fisher Fitness to someone? Fantastic. On your way out the door, I hate that you're having to leave us. I'm happy to give you 2 more free classes that you can use anytime in the next 90 days. If you want to give 2 free classes to friends right now, give me their information. That's an option. And then also, we are a small business, and small business thrives on word of mouth. We're a tight knit community, and I know that you're on your way out, but it really sounds like you have enjoyed your time here. And if you wouldn't mind leaving us a review. That is always something that is so helpful for us and helps us to continue to grow and make sure that we're still here when you're ready to come back to us. And then if they say yes to that, send them the link to do that. Don't
Mm-hmm.
expect them to go and do that. Send them the link right away. While I have you on the phone, I'm going to text you this link. Or
Mm-hmm.
do you prefer text or email? Great. All they have to do is click and fill it out. You will get more reviews that way. Don't just ask someone to
100%.
leave you a review.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it was beautifully said, Em. And I bet a lot of our listeners, in listening to you just kind of riff on your kind of role plays when you are talking on this podcast, I bet a lot of them are just, wow, I wish the words came so easily to me. Like I wish I could talk like Emily in these situations and have these conversations. And I want to point out to all of you, Em can talk like this because she's got scripts and she's practiced those scripts endlessly. Yeah,
Mhm.
maybe we'll end this podcast, but you just talk a little bit about how much you and your growth squad practice your sales scripts and how much even when
Yeah.
you're onboarding new growth squad members, this practice makes makes
Yes.
makes makes better.
Makes much better, yes. I will say, I've said this before, but, like, you would never expect a professional athlete to just show up to the game. You would never
Hmm.
expect a musician or a performer to just show up to the performance.
Yep.
People practice. So, that's what we do. It's practice, practice, practice. My team has 15 to 30 minutes, 4 times a week of drills where we just run over parts of the scripts, changes that we're making. Whenever we make a big change or add something, we'll schedule an hour in that week to make
Hmm.
sure we are fully doing it. Um, and when someone is incoming and new, I spend a lot of time working with them first piece by piece of the script and then the script as a whole. Because when we're in those 15-minute drill sessions, we obviously are not able to do like the bigger scripts that we have, the sales scripts, the welcome scripts, that kind of stuff. Those are 25 to 30-minute conversations. So we often don't get to the whole thing and we will fly through it sometimes. I think there's something to be said about repeating the same thing over and over again. There's also something to be
Hmm.
said about doing it as quickly as possible without emotion, just to make sure you can get it out. Like, oh my gosh, Michael, I see there's an extra spot in this class. We allow someone to bring someone to the class with them. We always know that it can be super weird to work out somewhere new. Who do you want to bring with you? Just like as fast as possible.
Yeah, 100%. I love that. I love that. Yeah. So I love that you're sharing that because I think that's maybe it's the number one thing that prevents people from getting good at sales or getting good at referral conversations, upgrade conversations, termination conversations, is they don't practice. They don't practice. And it's
And
so essential.
I will say, I don't want anyone listening to be scared of the idea that when I say script, I mean it's exactly
Hmm.
the same every time.
Yep.
What I just said in my fast mode was just slightly different than what I said, 10 minutes
Hmm.
ago when I was talking
Yep.
about that organic, we've got a free spot in your class offer. There are major buzzwords and pinpoints I want. We'll always say we allow you to bring someone, and we'll always ask an open-ended question like, who is that person's name, and not a yes or no question.
Yep.
But how you get there can change. It doesn't have to be verbatim script. So don't be scared of the word script. Make sure you're well rehearsed in what the possible outcomes are and how to say this. But also, I'd like to go back to if you're going to be teaching your trainers how to do this, if you are a trainer, an owner trainer listening to this, don't think it has to be word perfect. It has to be, intent perfect.
Hmm. Yeah, well said. I'm so glad you brought that up because I think people do get scared of the idea that if I have to memorize a script, I have to memorize like word for word what it is. It's going to take away my humanity, my individuality. I won't be able to be my authentic self. And that's not what we're talking about. I think oftentimes when we first rolled out scripts many years ago at MFF, we actually started calling them talking points instead of scripts
Mm,
because people were so afraid of the idea that their conversations would be scripted. So, dear listeners, we'll leave you with this: go make some scripts or talking points, practice the crap out of them, and they will help you have better referrals, get more reviews, have better upgrades, have better termination conversations. And whether it's just you because you're an army of one at your gym, there's a whole team. This is, I think this episode really laid out a roadmap for all of you for like the main conversations you want to get better at. So thank you so
mhm.
much for sharing your wisdom again. This was truly fantastic. I have no doubt this is going to be another favorite podcast episode. Anything you want to leave our listeners with?
Um, Maybe just juicy other places for referral asks. Once again,
Mm,
there is no wrong time to ask for referrals. When someone does not convert or into a membership, they did your trial, they did your free week, whatever it is, and they're like, "No, thanks, I don't want to convert." I totally understand. I hate that you're not able to work out here anymore. I'm happy to give you 2 more free classes if you want to give 2 pals free classes. 2 more referrals from someone who didn't even sign up for your gym is an option. And then I'm sure you all have heard about referral contests, but don't be
hmm.
shy about that either. If having a referral form that your members can fill out anytime becomes stale or is not something you have enough human power to operate, just run a contest once a quarter. Offer a big giant prize, offer a free year-long membership to whoever brings in the most referrals.
Fantastic. I love those. Great tips. Listeners, I hope you had your pen ready because there's a lot of knowledge bombs in this podcast episode. Thanks, Em. I really appreciate you. And it's so lovely to have Em Strasfeld on the podcast for the first time.
This will be
Direct.
the last time for a while, though, in case
That's
anybody who's
true.
listening doesn't know. I'm 8 months pregnant, so bye.
Yes, we're not going to be having her back anytime soon, but she will return someday. She will return someday soon. Well, thank you so much, my friend. You can tell why M's title at MFF is Director of Possibilities because she's just, full of creating possibilities in the world. So thank you. I appreciate you and your wisdom. Dear listeners, if you found this valuable, please leave us a review. Leave us a 5-star review, in fact, anywhere you listen to the podcast. And email me, michael@businessunicorns.com, and let me know what you want me to talk about next or who you want me to talk to. This was a blast. Have a great rest of your day. We'll talk soon.
Bye.